It's Bonfire Night, so gather round with Konrad and Megan and your favourite sticky beverage. Sadly, festive Jack Daniels with Santa hats aren't out yet. This week, a surprisingly nuanced chat about hospital reform, the Söder-Merz conservative romance, and flippin' fracking again with Christian flippin' Lindner. Frack off!
It's time for another episode of Megan's Megacan. I'm Megan. I'm here in a quite dark Berlin with ex-Berliner magazine and Konrad Werner. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah. I just, while you were saying hello, I rearranged the spoffle on my microphone.
Is it called a spoffle?
I just think it should be called a spoffle.
It definitely should.
And I think that might have crackled over your hello, so apologies for that.
Yeah, I was just thinking when I got here, we've now had the clocks going back, so it's the time, you know, the part of the year where I come to your house in darkness.
Yeah, I know, I have to have the lights on and everything. It's very annoying, because I work from home as well, so it's a struggle to have a reason to leave the house before it's sundown. To
be fair, I don't want to complain about the weather, because we've had some really lovely, slightly too warm, but very, blue skies and the leaves and everything in Berlin, which is one of my favourite weather things.
Seasons. You like warm autumn days?
Not warm. The warmth, we're not talking about the warmth.
Okay.
But that blue sky and the autumn leaves and everything, it's lovely.
Oh yeah, that's nice, yeah. Do you like to kick autumn leaves around?
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't? In other good and positive news, we apparently have another Patreon.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks very much, Laurel.
Laurel, and what a great name.
It's a lovely name.
It's a very nice name. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
And if you would like to give us money, you should go to Megan. No, wait. Start again. Patreon.com.
I was like, if he does this off by heart, I'm going to be amazed. And I think I threw it off.
I was thinking about it because I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Oh, have you?
One of our listeners wrote in, said you've been saying it wrong.
Oh my God, thank you to whoever that was.
So it's patreon.com /
Megan's
Megacan. Yeah, because I've been saying backslash the whole time. A backslash is the one that goes downhill. And in URLs, they all go uphill from left to right.
Yes, and had you potentially had any other podcast partner, we would have got that. But you have me, the boomer halfwit. So
now,
my apologies.
Go to / Megan's Megacan / and become a patron, and we will do a special at some point. Hopefully.
We will. We are. Yeah,
that is definitely in the works.
It's in the pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We just need to coordinate schedules.
Right.
So yes, thank you, Laurel. Thank you to all our patrons.
What are we drinking?
Oh God, I almost jumped into the news there without the booze. In the spirit of, clocks going back. Sorry, this is damp because I washed it, not damp because of the weird rain. It's a Jack Daniels and ginger, one of our favourites. Because I think ginger, we're getting into the festive spice season. So what I'm going to start to do is my traditional festive plea for anyone. If you know anyone involved in the drinks industry, please can we have a festive Megacan and make it good. Just a little bit of ginger, a little bit of spice.
What are you envisioning?
Maybe it would be gross. I can't work it out, but then I'm not the ideas person here.
Okay. But you like cardamom? Stuff like that, cloves.
Just to fucking put a Santa hat on the J and the D of Jack Daniels. Just something. Give us something. Megas in your Späti are
Cheers.
One of the more expensive ones is almost at €5 now.
Oh my God.
Inflation.
Jesus.
Oh God, that was a tough one. Cheers.
Yeah, inflation is causing, it's wreaking havoc. Actually, this isn't on our news list, but I wanted to mention it because it's quite interesting. There's a war going on between Mars and Edeka. Because
I thought you meant for a moment there Mars, the planet, and I was like, I think we're just at the stage of the news cycle. I'm like, no. Fine, that seems completely fucking reasonable. That Mars, the planet, and Edeka, the German supermarket, are at war. Fine, yep, Yep, tell me, what's happening?
No, I meant Mars, the
I understand that
popular
a beat
confectioner.
after you said it, but the fact that I didn't immediately freak out when I thought it was the planet is fucking telling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it would have been bad if I'd been the one that broke that to you, that we were in the middle of it.
I don't even, I'm like, fine, I can cope with anything.
Not only have we made contact with aliens, we've actually
They're really fucked off with Megacan.
No,
So what's happening?
So I think it's Edeka. It could be. I think Edeka, Aldi, and Lidl are no longer or stopped stocking Mars confectionery. So all the Mars, because they were demanding higher prices, and those supermarkets were refusing to charge the higher prices, and so they stopped stocking them for a while, or Mars boycotted them. There was a row. I don't know exactly, but there was some kind of row. And instead, they started stocking like the old-fashioned kind of German confectionery that no one eats anymore, like from East Germany, like
Class.
those Knusper crispy Knusperflocken, those things. Yeah. So there were apparently for a couple of weeks there were loads of Knusperflocken in Edeka, but no Mars M&Ms and stuff.
What an increasingly strange world we live in. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. What else have we got to talk about?
So I'll start with the more difficult story. Well, I'm only 1/8 into my Megacan.
Always good. We usually leave the very complicated ones till the end and then make you explain it.
Yeah, and that often...
The time we did that with the overhang in the Bundestag was one of my favourites. Still don't understand
that blew up in our faces. Mm-hmm. Right, so hospitals, German hospitals.
Yes.
Health Minister Karl Lauterbach, he has made it his business. It's one of the things that he really wanted to do was reform the hospital financing system. And it is obviously going to be very complicated and difficult because it's been...
Come on, Karl, you can do this. I respect that, man. It's like, pandemic, what's next?
And he said it would be, if he manages it, it would be the biggest reform in 20 years in Germany. And it's all to do with how hospitals are paid to treat people. And at the moment, Germany is one of the few countries that pays hospitals on a case-by-case basis, per case, per treatment of each thing. And a lot of people have noticed, and a lot of people are saying that this creates a lot of potentially dangerous incentives for hospitals because it means that they effectively get paid more the more treatment they give out to patients, and it gives them incentives to keep patients in hospital longer and perform unnecessary operations and prescribe unnecessary antibiotics and everything. So, and it also puts a lot of pressure on hospital staff because they constantly have to get new patients in all the time. So there's always if you go to a hospital, they will find something wrong with you. Yeah, there's an old medics joke. Do you want to hear the old medics joke? There are no healthy people. There are only people who haven't been examined thoroughly enough.
Interesting.
And I got this from there's a doctor and journalist called Werner Bartens who wrote a book about all this, and he claimed in this book that this is no longer a joke, and it was in fact reality in many German hospitals that they were over-treating people, and because they have to break even, they have to make money, and hospitals are really struggling, especially now because of the rising energy costs.
God, what it must take, the energy bills of a hospital must be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and in fact, Karl Lauterbach, they announced this week, the German government, that they were putting an extra 8 billion into the hospital system just to
keep the lights on,
just to cover extra inflation and energy costs. So this reform, Lauterbach has instituted a 16-person experts commission of doctors, leading doctors and lawyers and experts basically, and they have to come up with radical solutions on how to fix this. And a lot of countries are kind of doing reforms of their hospital systems, but the interesting thing is that this the reason they introduced this Fall, it's called the Fallpauschale, is a fee, a case fee. And the reason why they introduced this back in 2003 was because hospital stays were notoriously long in Germany, and people were just staying in for ages. Like if you had your tonsils out, you'd be in hospital for 4 days and everything. And in many other countries, you would be in and out within a day or 2 days.
I had that with like laparoscopic knee surgery. I had exactly the same operation on the NHS, and then 2 years later in Germany, NHS was in for like half a day.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was over like a long weekend in Germany, so I think they were very short staffed. There was no one to kind of discharge me, but I was in there for like, I think 4 nights, 5 days.
Oh, okay.
From my perspective, there's a happy medium there. Like, I didn't need to be in there for 4 nights. But yeah, so they brought that in then to encourage hospitals to like get people through patients a bit fast.
Yeah, and it worked. So since they introduced this 20 years ago, the average hospital stay in Germany has gone down from 10 days to 7 days. But it's still 7 days.
Like a long time.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's a lot of costs related to this, and there's a really good documentary on ARD, the public broadcaster, all about this, and telling kind of, they collect quite a few horror stories of stories. A lot of premature babies is a big thing, so they're very lucrative, premature babies. So there's like pressure on the hospitals for them to induce like a premature birth. If it's like a 50-50, not sure what is the best solution, then often that they will go with the more lucrative solution. So there's like stories like that in this documentary, and people saying it's quite dangerous and everything. And apparently Germany has more premature baby hospitals than most of the European countries. Yeah, they have like over 170, and these are like premature baby centres. And a country like Sweden apparently only has 8 such centres. So is that they kind of talking about, and apparently other countries, especially
surely, like Sweden's a lot. I mean, what's the population of Sweden though?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, yeah, it's not the same. You can't really compare them the same. I mean, but the point is that especially the Scandinavian countries have what they call like a more mixed system where hospitals get a basic budget and they get a certain case fee for certain cases. And this is what this German Hospital Federation talked to me about. And yeah, and they said that they would like to see that in Germany too.
That's good. I always think give the people what they want. Not all people, sorry, but like if you have the experts working in the hospitals and they're going, this would actually really work.
Yeah.
That. You know, and then of course we have to have like a 16-person panel to come up with, and what they'll hopefully go is like, yeah, what these lads are saying, like, fine, okay, we've all...
Well, the German Hospital Federation is not represented on this panel. They're kind of annoyed about that.
I'm sorry.
There are other people who are, I mean, they're all more medical experts, but...
Carl! No! But you could be a medical expert and not have any idea what it's like to run a hospital.
Yeah.
But this is not a medical issue. This is a...
Yeah. I mean, they would have preferred to have been on the panel too. And the other people who are not represented, who would have been important, is the German states. Because the German states are in charge of health policy. Most of it is done through the states and not through the federal government. And
I can't see, but I'm giving like the emoji that just has a straight line for a mouth and straight line for eyes. Just like, this sounded really good, and now it's like, oh no, wait, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, not bullshit. Like, so what? I don't understand.
Well, the problem is that whatever reforms they come up with, the states will have to agree to them because that's the way the German system works. Mm-hmm. And if they don't agree to them, there's going to be another big discussion. And the thing is, the states have
yes, and we'll just have endless discussion between the federal government and the state government until we all implode in a fiery hellball.
Yeah, it's like with the
exactly everything else.
Everything else in Germany.
Right? Yeah. It's like every other fucking thing we do.
I was going to say the €49 ticket. Now, the reason why it's €49 is because the states wouldn't pay. And the €9 ticket, which everyone liked, was the federal government's idea, and they said this is a really good idea. And the states were like, yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Sweet, you pay
for it. And then they want to extend it, and the states said, well, we're not paying. And so they compromised and they came up with this €49 ticket, which is it's good, but it doesn't help everyone.
It's still like €49 is quite a lot of money.
Yeah. and it doesn't benefit everyone in the same way as the 9-euro ticket did.
No. Okay, well, that's annoying.
Yeah. So that is the danger here, is they'll come up with this great reform, and then the states will say, well, we can't do that, and they don't want to.
Lauterbach sort of, why not have these people at the table? I don't
know. He probably has some clever reason. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I write these articles in like 2 days. I can't interview everyone. I interview people who are experts, and then
you didn't get a line on Carl.
No,
we can get him on the show.
Yeah,
he's probably ready for a Megacan. The thing is, like, I quite like him. I think because he's like a virologist, isn't he? And he was very sort of like vocal, and also got a lot of flack, like everyone did during the pandemic. Earlier in the pandemic.
Yeah, and he's good. I mean, he comes across very well on the telly, and people like him. Everyone wanted him to be health minister.
But I would have had the States. But then maybe.
But it's all politics, isn't it? Who knows? I mean, this probably would have been too complicated to get the States on or board. It maybe would have been, which state you can.
16 more people in.
Yeah, it'd probably be something like that.
Maybe. Oh God, yeah. And then you have to listen to them all.
And also, they have different imperatives. The thing about the states is they're all just the government of that particular state at any one time, and then you'd have to decide which party would have to come.
Yeah, okay. Because like the hospital demands in say like Berlin is going to be wildly different to like a much smaller state which has like a few hospitals.
And also, well, the state government doesn't want any have to do any policies that make it look bad, Yeah. So there's if one of these reforms they said we have to close this one hospital and make a bigger hospital somewhere else, and then the state government would have to
and hospitals
have to like do that, and then they would become more unpopular, and they don't want to do that. So that's the kind of. That's politics, isn't it?
And hospitals, I think, become very, particularly in like not such metropolitan. Like I don't know. I know from my own thing when they closed our local hospital growing up, we all went on protests and everything, and like it's a very like emotive, so it can make them look bad, like you say, if they. So
that's the danger when they come up with these reforms, that the states will block it for those types of reasons because they don't want protests.
It's complex and nuanced and very annoying, and the problem's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Great. Next.
Good. We are going to talk about fracking.
No, thank you.
So.
No, thanks. No.
Friend of the pod, Christian Lindner.
Fuck me. Right.
Brought up the issue of fracking again earlier this week, and some people were saying, well, why would you do that? Fracking is banned in Germany and has been for a while. It's actually only partially banned. Everyone says it's banned, and it is, but it still happens because you can do, they have like safe fracking, and there is a kind of what they've banned is kind of new fracking and unsafe fracking, but it is banned. But everyone says it.
And to be clear, burning any of these, regardless of how we get them, is killing us as a civilization. So by all means. So what did Lindner say?
So Lindner, leader of the FDP and finance minister of Germany, he came out earlier this week and said, we have considerable gas reserves in Germany that can be extracted without endangering drinking water. And he reckons that extraction could be done responsibly within an ecological framework. This was immediately shot down by the Environment Ministry, led by the Green Party's Steffi Lemke, whose spokesperson said fracking gas is damaging to the climate and extracting it damages the environment in general, and it has been banned for good reason. So they kind of like knocked it down straight away. We could go into why fracking's bad again. Do you want to go into it again?
No. Okay. I think everyone
Okay.
I can tell. I don't know very much about fracking, but it's quite like an unstable way of getting gas out.
Yeah, and it's also it's not very efficient because apparently this is according to the Gas and Oil Industry Federation in Germany. Even if we started, we'd have to find places to frack. We'd have to find the right sites. And this would take 3 years before we even just to find
3
where.
3 years we should be just fucking fucking building everyone gets a fucking wind turbine. Go.
Yeah.
No. What? This is his 3-year plan? I thought this was like, right, it's a bit like the nuclear power things, like we can keep them open because they're there.
Yeah.
But he wants us to go out and start looking for gas that we might be able to get dangerously in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's his plan.
He just said it. Well,
do you think? Because I feel like fracking is becoming, or not becoming, it's one of these things, it's not just about the fracking, it's about this kind of like where you fall on the ideological debate about climate change and what we should and shouldn't be doing.
So for the FDP, a big principle of the FDP is they need to be open to new technologies. And they think... just making angry... Every week, all I do is I say things and you make angry noises. That's what people love about this show. I just say things and you just make...
Right. I fucking hate... I honestly have almost more respect for like your sort of more conservative, right? Like at least that's time something where FDP is just like, new technology because it's going to save us from climate change, but also like fracking might actually like not be so bad. No, it's probably bad. And we also know that we know that all of these things is not good.
Well, there's probably a political reason why he did say this. And that is because the FDP is tanking in the opinion polls and in the regional elections that we had recently in North Rhine-Westphalia and Lower Saxony. He needs to find issues which will appeal to his voter base, because it's kind of no secret that the FDP's general voters don't really like the Greens and the SPD. You know, they're more if they want to have a coalition, they'd prefer the CDU. They lean right, and everyone knows this, and Christian Lindner definitely knows this. You know, he said before the election that he would prefer to be in a coalition with the CDU. So, but now they felt like, because of all the big modernization plans they could bring in, they felt like they could look like a responsible party that could govern. They wanted to join with this coalition, which is more centre-left. So, but now it's kind of backfired, and because a lot of their core voters are leaving them, they have to say stuff like this to feel like we're still the FDP. We haven't become green or anything.
Do you think that party politics might actually just be a terrible idea?
What would be the alternative, though?
I mean, they're not great either. It's just all the same, though. Like, just with these parties, they seem to put on like a nice, but it's all just about people clinging desperately to power and flinging whatever under the bus. I mean, you know, anyone, maybe people can write in.
I mean, the thing is, this is not going to happen. They're not going to start fracking under this government.
No.
That's
true.
But what they want to do is appear like they've got something to say, and also find a compromise which they can then sell to their voters. You know, it's all about compromise. I mean, everything's compromise, isn't it? But things are going very badly for the FDP at the moment in the polls. They're almost down to 6%. They dropped out of the Lower Saxony Parliament altogether. So they're just a bit desperate, and it would have probably been better for Olaf Scholz's government if the FDP had done a bit better in the last election. Then they wouldn't be saying things like this. But fracking's really bad.
Yeah, let's not frack. Christian, find something else to say to them. Or... Which
brings us to our other favourite people on this podcast, who are Friedrich Merz and Markus Söder, the leaders of the CDU and CSU, respectively. Last weekend was the CSU party conference in Augsburg. Didn't go.
I was going to say, can you imagine the spread they would have put on? You would have just got a whole pig. Not just your... What was it you got at the CDU one? A Schweinehaxe.
Oh, it was great, though.
Oh,
really nice.
I did say, I think on that podcast, like, politics aside, I think I'd probably rather go to their party. Just be like, yes, nice food. It
was a pork chop.
Oh.
But very, very well done.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Was there some, like, really cooked sauerkraut in there?
Yeah, and mashed potatoes. But it was lovely. It was good gravy.
That's the only thing. Right. If we were just rejigging all of government, right, can we just run it like something different, and we just put parties in charge of like things like catering, like the ship parties can do things like catering. No decisions about fracking or anything. I do think the FDP boys could do like maybe the after party. Yeah. Dress code. I don't know. They can book a club. Like, I don't care. I just stop making these clowns make actual policy decisions. Sorry, you were talking. What?
So
CSU party conference in Augsburg.
Yeah. And Friedrich Merz. So what happens is they are often, the CDU and the CSU are like, they have this weird kind of marriage.
I still don't really understand this, but yeah.
And it does, I always feel, every election, I feel like I don't understand why this is fair, because no one can vote. If you don't live in Bavaria, you can't vote for the CSU. And if you don't live anywhere else but Bavaria, like if you live outside Bavaria, you can't vote for the CDU. And yet, when you do vote for one of the two, you get them both, even though they're separate parties. They're organized as separate parties, and they have separate leaders. So I think it's a bit weird to have a regional party in the federal government, which is what happens whenever the CDU gets elected, which they often do, which they mostly do. So yeah, so they have this weird like arrangement, but they have to
marriage of convenience,
and they have to get on with each other, but often they don't get on. Like very famously, Merkel and Horst Seehofer didn't get on.
Back in the day, that's when we first started this podcast, when I didn't know that the government was about to collapse. Back in those days where I didn't know shit all about German politics.
Yeah.
God, those days.
They didn't. So now, but apparently now they get on better than ever. Now these two, they're really good friends. Markus
Söder and Merz, that does not surprise me.
Yeah, they love each other.
Cut from the same weird cloth.
And they are both very good at doing like opposition type speeches. You know, they're good at doing annoying speeches that will annoy the federal government, especially Olaf Scholz, who's not doing very well. His popularity is very poor at the moment.
Yeah, he's struggling, isn't he?
They're getting on famously down there in Bavaria. And the other reason that they're getting on famously, because you might remember last year, Laschet and Söder were in an almighty alpha male battle to become the chancellor candidate for the CDU-CSU.
I wonder what Armin Laschet's up to these days. Yes. So they were battling it out. Yeah,
and there was a lot of division. That was one of the reasons probably why the CDU lost the election last year, is because they looked divided, you know.
But that is wild that you think about, because Markus Söder is actually technically not in the CDU. So how was he even...
Well, because they have a common
candidate. But it is mad.
Yeah. It's very rare for a CSU candidate to represent both parties. It's usually the CDU gets to choose because they're bigger.
You know, such a...
Anyway, shall I carry on talking?
Please. Sorry.
Have you lost the will to live? So what is mildly interesting is that I'll promise I'll be finished soon.
Okay.
What is mildly interesting is that Söder has apparently totally backed down on his big leadership ambitions, partly because he's got an election in Bavaria coming up, and he's no longer making big statements that are supposed to be, you know, relevant nationally. He's only like concentrating on Bavaria and that is
Freistaat Bayern.
Yeah, and that suits Friedrich Merz really well, because Friedrich Merz wants to be, you know, he ultimately wants to be the next chancellor.
Oh presumably. God, I hope one of us dies before then. I mean, like me or Friedrich Merz, not you.
Okay.
But he's quite old, so...
Yeah, you probably got better chances.
That's a terrible thing to say. I don't mean that. I mean retires from public life.
Yeah, and also Merz has got plenty of rivals in his own party, not even Söder, who would probably be more electable.
Who's in there?
In the CDU?
Yeah. Who's still clinging around?
Well, Hendrik Wüst.
Who? What? That's not a real name. What? Sorry, you just sounded like me.
Hendrik Wüst.
Wüst?
Yeah.
Hendrik Wüst? I've never heard of this man. No, wait. Is he a state premier?
Yes.
Is he Nordrhein-Westphalia?
Yes.
Yes! Took over from Laschet?
Yeah. Well done.
That came out of nowhere. I genuinely thought that was the first time I've ever heard you make those sounds. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop.
All right, okay.
And he just won an election in
Did he?
Northern
Good
Australia.
lads. Yes, I knew that.
And he's doing, and he's still in his 40s, quite young. So
All
people
right.
are
Okay.
saying he would be a potential future leader for the CDU.
Okay.
Also, Stefan Günther in Schleswig-Holstein, also a young, up-and-coming
Conservative white man. Yes, let's get excited. God.
So all these people, and Friedrich Merz is closing in on 70, and he was obviously, even though he's leader now, it's not necessarily locked in that he would be the candidate.
Yeah, I feel like he is good
election.
in a opposition role because he like cuts about and says like inflammatory things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, look at the mess that Germany's in now. I'm like, give them a fucking second. You did nothing, your partner's party, as far as we can tell, for many, many years, except for cozy up to Russia. And then you fucking fucked off. The world imploded. And you're like, well.
Yeah, he wasn't even in politics for like 15 years.
Yeah, because he was off working for BlackRock, helping the last financial.
Yeah, and flying a private plane around.
Oh, God.
Did you hear about his private plane?
I don't.
He went to Christian Lindner's wedding in a private plane, which he flew himself.
But Christian Lindner, I know this from Grazia, got married on the fucking Ostsee. Why are you fucking flying? You fucking...
I think he was just wanting to show off his little plane. He's got because he can fly it himself. And he had like a little propeller plane. And
Actually, do you know what? Those are quite dangerous. Keep flying.
And so there was a bit of a slight controversy because people were criticising him for flying a plane where he could have just got the train or something. And he claimed at the time that his plane used less fuel than, for example, Olaf Scholz's car would have used, because, the chancellors have really, like, you're doing that emoji face again. And
It's like, it's also the teacher face as well. It's just like classic teacher face. Like,
Yeah,
please go on with this absolute fucking bullshit.
yeah, I totally felt it. I felt like I was 13-year-old child again.
Keep talking.
Yeah, no, I was really intimidated then. On Friedrich Merz's behalf. And he claimed afterwards that his little plane used less fuel overall than Olaf Scholz's company car, his government car that he drives around in, which is because it's all bulletproof. It's a really heavy, big car.
Yeah.
And
is there an ounce of truth in that?
yeah, if you drove all the way in, I don't know. To be honest, there were some fact checking articles that I saw, and they were kind of divided. Some of them said, if the car had to stop a lot and go a lot, and it was covering that distance because it has to go around a lot of corners.
And yes,
but I don't know.
yes, Friedrich, that's fine, right? That's absolutely fine. Cars are like the biggest, or one of the biggest polluters.
Yeah.
You are correct. Thank you for pointing that out to us. If we all stop driving our autos, then people could maybe take a few more flights.
Yeah.
You could have a holiday, whatever. Like we could work that out. If people weren't driving all of the cars every single day all over Germany. You, as the head of, as the wonderful Konrad Werner once dubbed it, the political wing of Volkswagen, can make a change here, Friedrich. But have you done a fucking thing?
No.
No, of course you haven't. You just want to be big balls and fly up to Christian Lindner's wedding on the freaking Ostsee. Maybe the Nordsee? No, it was the Ostsee, I'm pretty sure. Because they were going to get married in Italy, but they couldn't because of security reasons.
Well, it was on that island, wasn't it? It was on Sylt.
It was on Sylt. You were correct. Yeah, I heard all about it. And there was a protesting. But he didn't get in.
Oh, was there? Yeah.
I think so.
Oh. Anyway, that is all the news. That's all the news you need to know.
Great.
There's other news you need to know, but go and look elsewhere.
I'm not going to do that, as we all know. I still have some of my Megacan drink.
Oh, yeah. Any other business?
Nope. Started brewing my own beer.
Okay. How's that going? Have you drank any yet?
No, it only got bottled 2 days ago. Not bottled, it got into the big one, and then you have to bottle it in a week. And then in like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, we'll have beer.
What kind of beer?
Helles.
Oh.
And tonight we're going to do some fest beer.
And is there a reason for this? Why have you suddenly become a brewer?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, I feel like at some point my boyfriend and I were like, oh, that'd be fun to do. And then he's just gone mad and ordered like loads of brewing stuff. And so now that's what we do. Quite fun. Are you preparing for a party of some kind? Are you going to be drinking beer? Hopefully, if it all works out, you can come.
Oh, thanks. I wasn't fishing for an invitation.
No, but you can come. It'll be fun.
For Christmas, I thought maybe it was like a Christmas party preparation.
Yeah, maybe. It sort of worked out that way by accident.
Right.
But yeah, that's my news. Did you get your energy pulse, Charles? That's my other thing that I'm cross about.
No, I haven't yet, no.
Oh, you're freelancing?
Yeah. Have you got yours?
Yeah, and I know that I've lived in Germany for a long time and I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I was quite surprised that they've been going on and on and on about how they're going to give me 300 euros. Mm-hmm. But they taxed us on it. So in classic German style, what they have done. Now, who's responsible for this? Is it like Christian? Is it? Olaf? Which of these fuckers?
Christian is the finance minister, so
Christian.
Probably him.
300 euros. I'm going to give you 300 euros, 300 euros, 300 euros. This is classic, these lads, right? They go around spouting this 300 euros. That's fine. Like, I'm grateful. Like, I know a lot, like, whatever. But don't tell me you're going to give me 300 euros and then go, oh, yeah, but like, of that 300 euros, you also owe me like 140. Yeah. Just fucking... Why?
Just give me 160
Why?
then.
It's all... I don't... Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's ridiculous.
Again, it's obviously like it's not covering... Like,
also,
my gas bill currently is 182 euros a month.
So that 160 you got from the state...
doesn't even do 1 month. It doesn't even cover my normal bill for 1 month, let alone anything that might happen in the next...
Yeah, maybe they need to come up with a better solution to this whole issue.
I'll fucking discuss that for the next 100 years. Till the earth will be so warm we won't ever need to heat another flat again. Anyway, on that note. Thank you very much for listening. We love you.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you.
It was. I do appreciate you giving me the news, even if I don't want it. It needs to be done, like medicine.
Yes, well, you know, and the sugar that goes with the medicine is
the Megacan.
The Megacan.
Festive megas. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Maybe I just open them and put a wee cinnamon stick in before we start recording.
And just suck it through the stick.
Oh, that would be nice.
Right. Bye.
Bye. Bye.